Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Maggie, and welcome to the MD Brief, a new podcast.
Maggie and I are married. We share the same values, but sometimes we have different perspectives on the news, culture, etc. This podcast gives us a platform to share our opinions and try to get to the truth, or at least come to some agreement on what it all means. Every week, we will review the most controversial issues in politics and culture in the U.S. and the world, and then at the end of the week, we'll ask the big question.
Now, we don't pretend to know everything. We're not policy wonks or political experts.
Just a normal couple from the Midwest trying to make sense of everything that's going on.
Share your comments with us, and if you like what you hear, please share the link with your friends. So, we'll get started, Mike. Item number one, burning issue, the Iran war, the doomsday countdown. Now, you know as I do that Trump has been making lots of threats for the last day or two, and he's just ramping up the rhetoric. He's being his bullying self, trying to force Iran to come to the table with a ceasefire. Do you have any updates on that?
Well,
Any thoughts?
from everything I know, the Iranians have actually cut off negotiation. I've heard that today. Well, if there, whatever the deadline is, which I believe is 8 p.m.
Eastern time.
Washington time, I think we're going to hit that. And I believe that the Iranians have already kind of jumped the gun a little bit. Uh, I wouldn't say demolished, but they hit a petrochemical plant in Saudi Arabia, which was kind of a big one, yeah. And they have also did a major league hit on Israel with somewhere in the vicinity of 300 bombs and drones, of which maybe half got picked up by the Israelis, and they are going after Israel, infrastructure as well. So they are actually jumping the gun on this, I believe.
Huh. Why
So,
why do you think they're doing that? What kind of a message are they sending?
well, Iran, the two countries that are locked in this death grip in the Middle East are Iran and Israel, which I think everybody
Mm.
knows. The rest of the Middle Eastern countries, maybe with the exception of Iraq, are kind of bit players. All the Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, they're all in business, I guess, with America. They've got Dubai and all these plants and things, and they're basically extensions of America. I believe they've got
Mm.
American military bases all over the place, which are largely destroyed now. But the two big guns are obviously Iran and Israel. And this whole thing, if we didn't know this already, we know it now that it's existential, getting biblical, so to speak, even though we're dealing with the Quran and and the
Mm,
Torah. Using the term biblical probably isn't quite right, but I guess you
but it
understand.
kind of
You
is.
understand my point.
Yeah.
So, um, what I think what Iran is trying to prove is they're just not going to get pushed around.
Do you blame them?
Mhm.
Seriously?
I do not. I'm not, I don't wanna sound like I'm a defender of the
Right.
Iranian regime.
Awful people.
These are, yeah, so and the middle class in Iran, is my understanding, is very westernized and is very a lot of common ground with your basic European or American. We have maybe this is a different episode here, we'll talk about the history of what actually happened to Iran. Iran is, to get around to answering your question, they're gonna prove that they're the top dog in the Middle East. They're tired of the rhetoric, and they're tired of Israel pushing everybody around, trying to make a greater Israel in the Middle East, and they're going to step up and attempt to step up and show everybody that they are the top dog in the Middle East, and they are in an existential battle to be Iranian, or it's Persian, I guess.
Mm.
The English phrase, but they're actually Iranian. So, and they don't want Israel to be the top dogs in the Middle East anymore.
Is it simple as that?
Well, despite how civilized we are, you can still use the law of the jungle as a metaphor. I know you and I have talked about how to deal with corporate matters and also civilized business, but at the bottom line, it's
People
you
are
know,
just people.
people are people, people are animals, alpha males. We are the top dogs, and if you don't like it, beat us. You
Yeah.
don't. It's kinda what Israel's been saying, "You don't like us? Do something about it." Well, Iran is finally going to do something about it. They've,
Mm.
clearly, they have been planning this for years, decades, and, they are executing very well on their plan. Whether they how this ends up 5 years from now, there's still going to be an Iran.
Right.
I guarantee you what that actually looks like, I guess we will see. And if we really wanna talk about the nuclear option or the Samson, doctrine, which is, Israel's nuclear plan. It's called the Samson doctrine. It was Samson with the hair and,
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
know the whole story.
Oh, I love
If it gets to that point, I guess we'll see. But they want America out. They want Israel to stop being bullies, and, they want a Middle East that's all Arab or Persian, maybe a little bit Jewish there with Israel,
mm,
but that's what they want, I believe, and they want to have a little more direct control over global matters, which they are with the Strait of
mhm.
Hormuz being blocked. And also the Red Sea, the strait at the bottom of the Red Sea is
Yeah,
also starting to be blocked by the Houthis as well,
God.
so.
So, I tend to think that we're not playing the same game. This weekend, I was playing child games with my, grandnieces, grandkids, whatever. And what I realize is that I think Iran is playing one game and then we're playing another.
Mm.
Like, there is no way that we're really going to actually be able to, you know, negotiate a ceasefire if we want different things, if we have different wants and needs.
I think you're right. We are playing more of a transactional game, and we're thinking in terms of business.
Yeah.
What's it going to cost us?
What do
What's
you
the oil worth?
what's in your interests? What do you want? And what we believe is in someone's interest, we think it's the same as what we want, but it's
Mhm,
not.
mhm,
Iran doesn't give a shit.
right,
They don't care about the things we care about. They're rebuffing
uh-huh,
Trump right now
right,
because we don't care. Hey, we kill our own people. If you
mhm,
want to kill some, that's fine. And he's threatening them with that. And it's like, I don't care.
yeah, no,
Do you think we care? If I was Iran, it's like I'm telling Trump, do you think we care about what our people think? No.
right, I couldn't agree more. I mean, maybe not every human, but many humans have I include myself in this, have a difficult time understanding that someone might be thinking differently than I am, and Donald Trump is maybe the worst of that
Right.
because he seems to think he can just think something into existence, and
Will it? Yeah.
if he just says it enough times that this is the best this and this we've got the greatest economy ever, and Joe Biden had the worst economy ever, and every president before me is an idiot, and if he just keeps saying it enough, in his mind, it's true when it
And
really
in
isn't. Mm,
fairness, he wouldn't be doing it unless it worked. He wouldn't be president unless it worked at least half the time.
it got him elected
Yeah.
twice. A lot of people just in general like the bravado. I
Mm.
said, numerous
Big talk
times about other people is you could say anything you want, but as long as you say it strongly and proudly,
and with
you and
confidence.
with confidence, you will get a lot of people to follow you,
Yeah.
which and it's worked twice. It's got him elected to the presidency
Yeah.
twice. But the Iranians are there going, well, no. And if you look at who recently is starting to have some traction, it's people who are stepping up to Trump and not taking his crud, like Anthropic. They decided to reject the Defense Department's will about how they use their large language models. And guess what? 2 weeks later, it's now estimated that Anthropic is worth more than OpenAI. So Sam Altman and OpenAI have been leading the charge on large language models and AI for a couple of years now, and all of a sudden they're losing it, and Anthropic is picking up because they stood up to Trump's Defense Department. Delta Airlines has told all members of Congress, "You're not getting on the cut. You're not going to be able to cut in lines anymore until you get this TSA stuff worked out." Well, guess what? Their popularity soared as well, and so now
Yeah.
Iran is doing the same thing. Saudi Arabia, all these other places just kind of acquiesce and do a business deal, but no, Iran is stepping up. and they're laying some punches on us. And I don't know if everybody out there is only listening to American news services. We're probably losing this war.
Yeah.
And we certainly ain't anywhere near dominating that you hear on American TV or you hear from Donald Trump. I can tell you that. But yeah, their ultimate goal is to be the top dogs in the Middle East, and 5 years from now, they will be.
Wow.
I believe. I believe. This is my opinion.
I just can't believe it's that basic, you know?
I hope, for those of you that care, my personal thought process is start with the simplest and then go to the more complicated. Simplest is I wanna be in the top, you don't like
I
it?
wanna be number 1, I wanna be
Stop me.
uh,
I don't like Americans in my backyard. Let's think about it. What if the, Iranians started to set up shop in Cuba and Puerto Rico and Guatemala right in
nice.
our backyard and started opening military bases and,
Uh-huh.
screwing around with how would we feel?
Yep, no,
Mm.
I get that. So, that's very fair. I mean, they are horrible to their own people, and it is for us with our values, it's hard to just stand by. That said, some of the things that we're criticizing the Iranians for, our own government is doing to us in
Look
Minneapolis.
yeah, look, if we have 0 moral authority to complain about governments killing their own people if you've seen what ICE did most of
Yeah.
last year.
Okay, so you had some thoughts on the rescue of that airman.
Right. So, for those of you that have been living in a cave, we had a huge rescue of 2 pilots, that got, basically shot down over, southwestern Iraq,
Yeah, Southwest.
Iran, pardon me,
Iran.
and they ended up getting rescued, yes. So, I'm still, trying to fish out the exact details, and the exact details about what happened are years away probably, but there's a lot of evidence that says there's some oddities that went on. And basically, it all revolves around how much hardware was used to rescue these guys, how much military equipment was part of the mission, and ended up getting destroyed. So normally, and I'm no expert in these matters, but these CSAR guys, combat search and rescue.
Okay.
These CSAR guys are pretty efficient, and they're excellent at what they do, and they're pretty lean. And a pilot goes down, and they got 2 choppers and a backup, and you know, 10 guys maybe, and they got a beacon and a GP, and they are in and out like like nothing.
Yeah.
And these pilots are trained in SERE training, SERE, which is search, evade, rescue. I forget the exact acronym. So they're experts on how to hide and or trained rather. I don't know if they're experts, but so there's a couple of things that just make this thing look bad, and we're not quite going to get the true story for a while. But number one is the location of where they were shot down and where they ended up getting picked up, which is numerous miles away from where they got shot down and where they ended up getting picked up. And the one of the guys, the USO, which the 2 people in the F-15. So 15 used to have just 1 pilot, and now they got 2
Oh,
options. The pilot and then what's called the WSO, the Weapons Service Officer.
okay.
Anyway, so he would be the goose to the Maverick and Goose for those of you that
Yeah.
are doing Top Gun here. And something weird is that this guy was a colonel apparently, which the WSOs are usually junior officers, the lieutenants or maybe a captain. This guy was a full colonel, my understanding is. And the second thing is he got injured. He got a sprained ankle. I had heard he got a broken leg, but I think it was just a sprained ankle. But anyway, this guy was able to hump it numerous kilometers apparently from where he got shot down and eventually where they picked him up. So that is kind of hinky. And
So how far do you know how far it was?
well, I had heard 100 kilometers.
Okay, so that's
I gotta
50
check
miles.
that. I gotta check that. But even if it was 20 kilometers, it's pretty mountainous there. And this guy's
Yeah.
got a sprained ankle. So, maybe he's in good shape and was able to do it. But just the distance between where he got shot down and where he ended up getting picked up is in question, I guess. So makes you go, And then but the second thing, the real thing is that the a monstrous amount of equipment that was used to pick this guy up and ended up getting destroyed. 2 C-130s, 2 Apache helicopters that both got I don't know if they got destroyed or they got damaged. 3 or 4 of these helicopters called Little Birds are just smaller. Google it, the smaller, and they got destroyed. And you got a couple of Reaper drones. At least 1 Reaper drone got destroyed. So you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of equipment and, hundreds of guys, hundreds of special ops guys, which so either they were really wanted to get this guy, so he didn't get captured, or, which is I think is equally likely that they had another agenda, and all this happened in the region of a nuclear power plant in southwestern Iran, and word is that they were gonna do a mission to take it out, and these F-15 kind of the lead on that, and it went from a mission to damage or take over the nuclear power plant, and then all of a sudden it turned into a search and rescue mission. But
Okay. So, all right. So Trump in his big speech, was it yesterday
mm,
at noon? He was, I would say, ebullient.
mhm,
Is that the word? He was super excited about how successful everything was. It was basically
mhm,
a Tom Cruise movie. He was so excited.
mhm,
They were able to make the save the guy. And he mentioned that part of their strategy to doing it, because they're in a dangerous area, was that they were doing a decoy campaign, sending people in various different places
mm.
to give the Iranians or to confuse the Iranians on where the person really was. Does that make sense
Yeah,
to you?
uh
But you're saying,
that could be. I guess that I'm not gonna say no to that. That's,
yeah,
sure, that's a possibility, of course.
but
That's
it
not
seems
unreasonable.
overkill.
Seems like overkill, and considering how good these SAR guys are, I don't think it was really necessary. They coulda
Yeah.
zipped in with a couple of Blackhawks, found the guy, got the hell out, and
It
so
was
I would say
overkill.
and then I would say also, we're supposed to be the baddest ass on the block here, and we gotta do all this subterfuge, and just because 'cause we're
Yeah.
scared of some Iranian peasants with rifles, are we really that scared when we gotta send, half of the 82nd Airborne all around
Okay.
to confuse them?
All those the
Yeah,
C-130s, they destroyed them?
right, so that's it looks it appears as a lot of them were self-destroyed just 'cause, this is typical, it happened during when we went in to get Bin Laden, one of the helicopters got clipped and they destroyed they don't want the technology to get into the hands of the enemy, so
So these C-130s, which I guess are big, they were shot down?
yeah, that's what we're I think but I
There's
this
something
what
funny.
right, the story is well, they landed on a makeshift runway. There was some sort of makeshift old runway, and it was kinda close to this
Okay.
nuclear plant, but they couldn't get out. I guess they landed and they couldn't get out.
Ok
I don't know if they were some of these were shot down. I think the Apaches got damaged, shot at. I think the C-130s actually just got stuck in the mud. Theirs got hit
Oh,
as well, and the drones got hit
they're stuck,
so and then they just blew themselves
just
and they
like my Chevy in the snow in Minnesota.
yeah,
Okay.
what is it from, My Cousin Vinny, that kinda thing. Yeah, yeah. Uh, everything I just said is a lot heck of a lot of circumstantial evidence and a lot of supporting pictures, and other experts are saying this. So, but
Okay.
none of it's will ever be
Alright.
confirmed until later.
Okay.
Mm,
I was wondering if you were being a little, conspiracy, but actually it actually
right.
makes kinda sense to me that there's something I
Uh
bet Trump doesn't even know the real
Yeah, and,
story.
also, a lot of military guys are just aghast at how much detail he vomited up,
Yeah,
the
sources and methods,
the
I think.
admiral was going on Kane, I think his name
Yeah.
is, yeah, pretty effusively about it, but Trump has given up tactical details that
Yeah.
he shouldn't be, but
Yeah.
so, but they got the guy out, and here's another thing, you don't even know his name. I mean, if this is such a big hero, you'd think he'd be on the South Lawn here with Easter egg hunts or whatever, or getting a medal or something, and Trump would be right in front going, "Here's our brave pilots," and we don't even know the guy's name, so
Yeah. Okay. Well, it does seem like it was
mhm.
wasteful, to say the least. But, I'm glad they got the guy back. That's great. But, okay. So we have this what time is it? At the time right now, live, it's 6:20.
Mhm,
So 40 minutes before Armageddon in Iran and the end of the world, end
mm,
of civilization for Iran. I'm personally not happy. Many people are not happy about the language, the violent, violent language
mhm,
that is being used. And I think most of us understand it's the bully in Trump. He's very frustrated that the Iranians are blowing him off and that they're not capitulating like Venezuela did, and that they are actually standing up and saying, fine, do it. I don't
mhm,
care. So, for a moment, war crimes, people have been talking about the war crimes, like even just stating that you're going to end civilization for Iran, I mean,
mhm,
is not okay.
mhm.
Um, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, we are committing war crimes. I mean, you could just take the war off. We're committing crimes. Yeah, so I agree with you about that. He's finally met somebody who isn't taking his crap, I guess. And
Yeah.
Iran's getting bombed,
His
and
strategy's not working.
yeah, yeah,
He only knows one strategy,
escalated.
bully, and
Right,
being violent and
right.
hitting.
So let's look at other places that he's bullied. Let's just
He's
take the
not strategic.
Right, let's just take the last, year since he's been in office, I guess. He's bullied countries, and what do these countries do?
Sure.
They just sort of pander and try to make a deal. So
And
I
now
love Mark Carney from Canada, but he's basically trying to be strategic about, "Okay, I'm gonna start sending half of my stuff to somewhere else instead of America," and he's just trying to make a business deal. Europeans are just trying to get through the tariff stuff, with the least amount of pain, so they're
the
businessmen.
woman gave up her Nobel Peace Prize.
Right, yeah, yeah, right. So he's used to people acquiescing with minimal effort. So when somebody doesn't acquiesce and he keeps going at bullying them and bullying them, you can see that his rhetoric is just going up and up and up. And so I agree with you on the scary. He's getting biblical now. Praise be to God, or I don't know what he said in his tweet, or
Yeah.
but, yeah, and, so we'll see if it ends up being actually acted upon, or is he just gonna taco it like a taco is the acronym for Trump always chickens out. For those of you who haven't heard it, I'm a
Yeah.
part-time stock trader, and so the traders on the floor are always talking about Trump always chickens out, so anything he does with a tariff, they don't necessarily get worried about because he's gonna chicken out, and so he does a lot of that stuff. And one thing I'm thinking is that he might have too many people around him. I think his instinct would be to chicken out and just wash his hands and say, "I won," but he's got other guys around him who are kinda egging him on, specifically Pete Hegseth and Lindsey Graham, who are just keeping him riled up, keeping him going, and it's just
Mhm.
escalating and escalating. And the one guy who might be reasonable is Rubio,
And even
and it,
he was part
yeah,
of it.
right, and maybe Vance.
I heard Vance was actually the only one.
So
There
he
was an article, I think, in the Times today where Netanyahu was in the Situation Room the first time that
uh,
somebody from a foreign country was in
well,
the
right, well,
Situation Room. And he gave a 1 hour presentation on why he made an argument for why America should join the war in
mm,
Iran. And the only person who actually said, I don't agree with this, this is not a good idea, was Vance.
well, he's gotta think ahead. He's a young man. Anybody who gets to be the vice president can reasonably assume they got a shot at being the president. He's gotta think ahead to post-Trump. He's a lot of things. Stupid ain't one of them. So he's trying to think ahead. So I don't know. There's a couple of reasonable people in there, but I think super macho Keg's breath is what they call him. Hegseth is keeping him fired up. Lindsey Graham's keeping him fired up, and will he actually push the button? I mean, everybody knows our worst case scenario is going nuclear. I personally think the Israelis will go nuclear before the Americans go nuclear.
They can't go nuclear.
Well, if it gets down to our existence is seriously really threatened, I'd rather take the Iranians out with me instead of acquiesce. But you'd think cooler heads would prevail, but we'll see. And we could do a whole episode on the Israeli lobby and the history of all that. But your point is correct in that Netanyahu and Israel, and Netanyahu the most, but other Israeli presidents and the Israeli lobby is just it's clear that they're driving this, and they have a large amount of influence.
And Trump doesn't want to be left out, and he wants his Nobel Peace Prize.
Right, yeah, yeah, if any let's get back to
Idea.
the simple. What does Trump really want? He wants to be respected, he wants to look like a winner, he wants to look like a smart guy, he's thinking about his legacy, he wants to be the guy that took down Iran. With the Ayatollah and people like me of a certain age have always hated Iran because of the Ayatollah, going back to the hostages and the Miracle on Ice in the, late '70s, early 1980, and all that. Get back to your war crime question. Yeah, yeah, it's
It would be a war crime, but since when has that
yeah,
stopped
yeah,
Trump
that's
before?
kind of a quaint
He doesn't care
it's kind of a
about
quaint term.
law.
Right, right. It's kind of a quaint term at this point. We're a country that,
He's just
bombed
destroying
napalm,
us. Yeah,
strafed Laos and Cambodia and with, napalm and totally obliterated
I even
northern and going back to World War II, we firebombed Dresden, we firebombed Tokyo. So, we don't really have much moral ground for all that, but, yeah, they'll do it.
okay, so he said, she said.
Mm.
Will he taco tonight
Mhm.
or will he attack?
I think he's gonna attack because, the Iranians have stopped talking. Basically, they turned off their, negotiation, and, what they will respond by going after Saudi Arabia, Israel.
Yeah,
They'll go after local countries. I'm not so sure if there's any kinda hit on America, I would guess cyber. Or if they have some sleeper cells, they might try to do some strategic hit on, like, the Holland Tunnel or something, like, half of all the internet cables go through the Holland Tunnel, something like that.
okay,
They'll try to find a weak point, but I'd go with some sort of cyber attack.
okay.
If it's actual, like, kinetic attack, yeah, they're just gonna start pelting the snot out of Israel, in my opinion.
But they'll come after us too, or they'll come after
It's
assets.
easier for them to hit the planes in the sky than it is to try to do something here, 'cause they've already proved they can do it. They've got something called passive infrared, which beats stealth, and you can
I
the stealth fighter still has a rocket on the back of it that
right,
gives off heat, and they can find it without being detected, so passive infrared, and so I'd just start taking out the boats, the Marines are on boats, trying to take those out.
right,
What's in front of you, trying to get off a cyber attack. Oh, cyber attack would be the easiest thing to do.
right.
Trying to get off some sort of terrorist bombing here, maybe that's a little more complicated.
Wasn't one of their aren't there a lot of Iranians here already? They're even on TikTok.
Yeah, there's a
I
large
mean, their Iranians are
Iran
hard to
expat.
stop them
Yeah,
from,
but these guys are anti-regime Iranians.
but they're not all like, some of them are actually anti-American,
Oh,
and
probably.
they're here in LA
Mhm, yeah, I know it,
because
yep.
or they're here anyway.
That's possible, sure. I don't know if a sleeper cell would be embedded in a community, because then the cops would know exactly where to get them.
I think Rubio did kick him out.
Okay.
This one woman, she was doing a TikTok dance, I guess?
Yeah, this would be the niece,
Yeah,
and the sister of, the one of the top guys in Iran. I forget his name.
right.
We'll say I know, but
Something I can't pronounce.
right, so this is typical, take 2 people, screw their passports, they're just trying to get out,
Just kick him
right?
out. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
busy,
and
but no more
you
visa.
leave, 7,000 people still here.
Right,
Any of 'em can do something. Part of me thinks they gotta get some sort of hit on us. It'd just be easier to the cyber division of Iran is, pretty good. They're trained by the Russians, who are excellent. Screwing with the electrical grid or
yeah,
water supply or the internet or something
right.
wouldn't surprise me a bit. I think whatever he's planning on doing, I think it's gonna happen. I don't
He
know what
will
they're planning.
he he will hit them, but also Iran will hit back in ways that
Right.
probably
Right.
Trump hasn't thought of.
Right, right, and they're already hitting. We talked about it at the beginning. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're jumping the gun here.
Okay, he said, she said, number 2. NATO, will it survive?
Let's see. NATO now needs one of the few smart things Congress has done over the last few years. They passed a law
That was Rubio, didn't
when
he?
Biden, yeah, Marco Rubio of all people, got the Senate, well, the whole Congress, when Biden was president, to pass a law saying that U.S. can't leave NATO without a 2/3 vote of Senate, I believe.
Yeah.
So in a rare moment of clarity, they got something through. Well, the thing with NATO is you got Hungary, which is just gumming up the works with a lot of stuff.
Stupid Vance was sent over. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
stamp. Do you know what they said? They said they love him. We love you, Orban.
yeah, yeah.
Who says that?
Of course, because
I don't say that to you
the
in
the
public.
the only people who Donald Trump likes are the strongmen, the North Korea, Putin, Orban, Erdogan from Turkey. Those are the only people he,
Okay.
he likes. Will NATO survive? Yeah, for the short term, I'm gonna say that I'll bet you Europe might say we're done.
Well,
Or they might kick us out.
this might this might be a withering on the vine because Trump does not place any value on contracts. He doesn't pay his own contractors.
There's an endless
I mean, there's the
list
history of the guy. This is who he is.
stiffing and
Are we
stiffing
idiots for
contracts.
not
Yeah.
listening to him and or just looking at his history? He doesn't give a damn about a piece of paper and what it says. He
Yeah.
ignores it.
Uh,
So, in his mind, I wrote this down as a quote. Greenland. It started there. They wouldn't give it to us. Bye-bye. He literally is saying bye-bye to NATO because they didn't give him
Right.
Denmark didn't give him Greenland.
Right.
So he's stupid, set that aside. Also, you can have a law that says you can't leave NATO, but I think he's going to leave NATO in spirit and action by
Mm.
just not supporting them.
And,
And
I hate to break it to you, but we're not gonna get Greenland. Canada will have some sort of, bond with Denmark and the rest of Europe. Greenland is actually a very strategic place, so there's a good reason we're talking about Greenland because the ice caps are melting and the shipping lanes in the north are, and Greenland is key, and you don't want Russia to be controlling most of that. So you want Canada and
yeah,
Greenland and Alaska to have more of a presence with Russia. So they are correct that Greenland is a key thing, but they could have had anything they wanted just by asking.
yeah.
If they would have said, "Hey, we're gonna put some ports in Greenland," Denmark would have said, "Yeah, go ahead, don't worry about it." But no, he's got to be a dick about it. And now with Canada asserting itself more, I wouldn't be surprised if Denmark and Canada got together and put some troops on Greenland. It's like, yeah, fine, you want to take it? Come on, let's go. But I think you're right about the withering on the vine concept. It's just a matter of when we get to the next president. I think it's going to get repaired. Who knows? I wouldn't trust us if I wasn't us. If I was European or Asian or Chinese or Jerry, I wouldn't trust America. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say it'll survive in the short term.
Okay. Last question then. The burning question. Is it time? Is it time to say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well,
Bye-bye to Trump, the 25th Amendment,
what exactly is the criteria for the 25th Amendment? Is it some sort of physical
the
thing,
cabinet
or can it
members,
be any
a
reason?
majority, I think, of the cabinet members
They can
need
vote him off for
to
any reason?
vote island.
Well, yeah, well, he should have been, uh,
Voted off a long time ago.
because of ICE, yeah, but, yeah, he should there's, numerous other reasons he should have been 25th
But it's
Amendmented, but
still not there yet.
yeah, and, what yeah, he's still solid. Like, support for the Iran war within just MAGA is nearly 100%. And his cabinet is there, and there's nobody in his cabinet that's gonna try this or vote for it. If that's the actual mechanics of it, nobody, even let's say JD Vance gets some clarity, he's gonna have to do some tap dancing too. He would have to say, "Oh, I won't run since it's on self-interest here. I won't run for president in 28 if we do the 25th Amendment. If it's not Vance, I don't know who else. Nobody vote for it. Nobody's gonna no. I mean it. That's just two different questions. Is it time? Of course, it's time. He shouldn't be president, but will it happen? No.
Well, honey, this was our first episode of our new podcast. How do
Mm,
you think it went?
not too bad. I'd like to thank the audience for listening to episode number 1, and so hopefully there'll be many more.
And we'll get better at it too.
And yes, I promise we will get better at this. I
It was all right. It was fun.
didn't go too badly. So things were in Chicago. For those of you that, if we didn't say it at the beginning, we're Chicago residents. So
Fans,
right,
Cubs fans,
yes,
and White Sox
I'll
fans.
throw some sports in here every now and then. Mostly politics.
All right. Well, thank y'all, and I'll see you next week.
See you on the next episode.
Bye.